Welcome back to Markets Today. It's a Friday. We are happy. We are taking it down a notch. And we want to hear, where are you watching us from? What was your investment decision for the week? And is any of the information helping you make a better decision? I hope it is. Anyway, for today, we have the Ask Mbithe segment, and we are continuing and just speaking to many people and understanding their views. In studio, I am joined by Mr. Adam Kagema, who is a young, budding entrepreneur, very curious about stocks, and he's come here and he's been here before. So welcome back to the show, Adam.
Thank you so much.
What have you been up to since the last time you were here?
I've been mainly focusing on the business.
Yes.
And also going to work.
Yes.
Basically, yeah. And yeah, just making some few changes here and there.
Okay, so what business were you doing the last time?
So basically, I'm a freelancer photographer and cinematographer.
Yes.
I also work for studio camera operator,
Okay.
Metropole TV.
Yes.
Also, I'm an entrepreneur. That's
Yes.
that's where I focus most of my energy on.
Okay,
Yeah.
peanut butter. I'm still waiting for that story. How's that business going?
The business is quite okay.
Yes.
The COVID-19 period has been kind to me because
Yes.
people are now at home. They're shopping more when they're at home.
Yes.
And I've been able to expand my business.
Okay.
Yeah, from the last time that we met.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for that bottle, so I hope to get one soon.
You will get
I have
a
put in
special
my
one.
order. Nimeweka order. Mimi nipatie, and maybe one of you anyway.
Yeah.
So, all right. So it's all about you. So, karibu sana. Feel free. Let's take it away.
Thank you so much. I actually have a set of questions prepared, and we're going just to jump right into it. People who are watching mainly are new people. I told a couple of my friends to watch today,
Okay.
and they had a few questions. So there's one particular person who asked something. The general definition of stocks, investing, and shares.
Okay.
Just put it out there. What is stocks, investing, and what are shares?
Okay. So, investing is putting your money into a particular project or venture and hoping that it grows.
Yeah.
So if you have 1,000 and you want to invest, you're putting 1,000 aside and you're hoping that it will be able to grow. If it can grow to 1,100, that's some growth. If it can grow to 2,000, that's some double growth.
Yeah.
Before I answer the other questions, it only makes sense for you to invest if you have done some other particular events in terms of your own financial journey.
Yes.
When it comes to investing, you want to ensure, do you have first regular source of income? Right?
Yeah.
Because you can't go buy an investment and you don't have food. So if you're not yet at that level, it's not the right thing to do. Second thing, if you have regular sources of income, have you been saving? Rule of thumb, 10% at the very least, because a rainy day could possibly come and you never really know what's going to happen. Then once you're at that level, you want to say, now I have some extra money left. If I normally get 1,000, I have been consistently saving 10% of that, that's 100, and I've been able to get to a point of 6 months worth of saving. Now I'm okay, so that in case anything happens, if I lose my job, I can pay for my expenses, I can put money aside. And this is important, Kagema, because when you make an investment, it's not, you can't go and undo the investment. So if you make an investment in a company, tomorrow you can't say, I'm broke, I need my money. It takes some time to get your money back. Then once you're at that level,
Yes.
Then you ask, what is an investment in a stock, in a share? The business that you're doing for selling peanut butter,
Yeah.
at some point, is it registered as a business name or as a company?
Right now, it's registered as a sole proprietorship.
As a sole proprietorship.
Yeah.
All right. So what would happen is if, for instance, tomorrow Mbithe says, I need 100 bottles, right?
Yes.
What would happen?
Basically, I just go and get a product.
Yes.
And mass produce it. Yeah, it will take a lot of money.
Exactly.
So I'd have to dig into my savings.
Yes.
And what the company has made before.
Okay.
Yes.
So now that part of your company would need money.
Yes.
That's where shareholding comes in.
Yes.
Because either you would go take a loan,
Yes.
or you would get into your savings. If it's not enough, you would say, I have this order, my market is growing. You'd say, I need partners. I need other people to come in. That's the point where you say, now, as a sole proprietor, can I then become a company? When I become a company, can I open it up and say, Mbithe, would you like to be a shareholder in my company?
Yes.
That's effectively what it means when you talk about shares. Because now what you do, if you and your friends say, this is a business that's growing, how do we operate together and how do we have a clear and transparent way of operating? You'd create a company. When you're creating a company, you look at it as a whole cake, but then you say, I'm willing to cede part of this cake so that I can raise that money. Then when these people put money, your hope is you pay them from the returns that the business makes as a dividend.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
So basically what you're saying is the money that should go into investing is the money that not necessarily not doing anything.
Yes.
But the money that you have put aside for saving for long term?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. For the long term. So
Okay.
then now for the long term, if anything happens, because if I come back to the same example, Kagema, if,
Yes.
for instance, today you had that order for 100 and you've opened a company and I've put my money there, what will happen if after you got that order, now COVID happened and people stopped buying? You see, you can't be able to sell anything.
Yes.
And if people come and ask you for money, can you give them the money?
No.
And can you maybe then get would someone else want to buy their shares? So that's why it needs to sort of have a long-term perspective to it.
Yes.
And the final thing is it's an investment you want to make a return from it, right? So there's a difference, a thin line between investing and gambling. Some people say, I gambled, I put in 1,000 and I made some money. It's neither here or there. An investment means you're putting money into a productive business venture that needs that money, and it takes that money and it sells goods and it's able to do better and pay you a dividend or a return at the end of time.
Okay, thank you. You have
Preempted.
really gotten into it.
Okay.
Okay, and I was having a conversation with one of my friends.
Yes.
And I told them about investing. And to get rid of the misconception that investing is for rich people, can you please educate us on how much low or how much the little amount someone can start to invest?
Okay.
Yes.
So when it comes to investments, I'd look at it like before you're an adult, you go through, I am a toddler, then you're going to primary, then you're a teenager, and so many things are happening, then you're a young adult. It's just like life. It's a journey.
Yeah.
The objective of investing, I like what you brought in, it's you're putting your savings for the long term. But because money is fungible, money has to find a way of being used or moving around, you're saying that these savings, I want them to grow. Right? So I want them to grow by a certain amount over time so that when I need them, you're putting the money aside because you're saying the future Kagema. How old are you today, Kagema?
I'm 21 years old.
21 years old.
Yeah.
So the reality is, Kagema, when you become 50, 60, you won't have the same vigor, the same vibrancy, the same energy to execute. You've told me you're already doing 4 things now.
Yeah.
You have you're an entrepreneur, you are a videographer, you're doing camera work with a TV station, you're selling peanut butter, and you're raring to go, which is a good thing. But the reality is, as you get older, if you even compare how quickly you do things vis-a-vis how your parents do things, your body ages.
Yeah.
So why you put aside money is you're saying, for the future Kagema, I'm doing this for my future self. Because my future self, A, might not have the energy to do it. You're saying my future self, one day, these opportunities might not be available, but there's a way I want my future self to live, so you're putting the money aside. First and foremost, that's the thing that you want to focus on.
Yes.
Then, when it comes now to investing, and I was saying there's a journey, you want to start with understanding the principles of investment. And Kagema, the reality is people look at investment like gambling, but it's not. It takes a very long time to get wealthy. Let me come back to the example of 1,000 shillings. When we're looking at investment options, today in Kenya, the safest investment is investing with the government. If you invest with the government for 1 year, Kagema, do you want to imagine how much return you'll get? Take a wild guess. Take a wild guess.
I'm thinking 10%.
Oh, lower, slightly lower.
Maybe 5.
It's 7.5.
Okay.
7.5. If you invest 1,000, how much will you get at the end of the year?
75 shillings.
Exactly. So how long will it take to keep investing 1,000 for 75 shillings to grow to something that you can use?
It will take a lot of years.
Many years.
Yeah.
That's the first way of thinking about it. Then on the flip side, and I like to use this reference when I'm speaking to people in this age group.
Yeah.
That 1,000, how quickly does it take you to use it if you take somebody out on a date?
Just once.
Just once.
You'll probably even need more.
Yes.
Yes.
So when you start investing is all about changing your money mindset. Because you're saying, this 1,000, I'll blow it in one sitting. In less than an hour, it will be finished.
Yes.
I'll feel happy. That 1,000, when you invest it in the government, it takes a year to give you 75 shillings.
Yeah.
When you start putting money aside and investing and saving, then you stop consuming. Because the money that you're going out on a date for and consuming, it's not going to be there for the future Kagema. Right?
Yes.
But the money that you're putting aside, the 1,000 bob, that's going to give you 75 shillings, right? And it will take you more than 10 years to double, is what is going to be there for Kagema.
And just to touch on that.
Yes.
Can someone lose money on investing?
Yes, that's what I was going to say next.
If I put that 1,000 bob,
Yes.
or maybe 1,000 bob per month
Yes.
for the whole year, is it possible for me to lose that money?
It is. It's very possible to lose it, because the next thing, now if you understand the difference between consumption and investing, the next thing is that pain you're feeling of, my goodness, this 1,000 is only giving me 75 shillings.
Yes.
It means that 1,000, someone can tell you, give it to me, I'll give you 2,000 tomorrow, and you can lose it. Yeah, you know, so you can easily lose it. And that's why I was coming back now to the part of the journey of investments. You normally start off with the low risk, low return, so that you can get your mindset into what is investing and what is it about. Then what you do is the returns you get from here, you put them into higher risk investments so that if it disappears, you're still building. You still have your base here. It's like building a house. You don't start building a house by building the roof. You start building a house with a basement. And you know how long, I don't know if you've ever been to a construction site,
I have.
but the basement is the hardest and it takes the most time. And you can't harakisha it. You put the concrete, then you pour water, then you wait till it sits, then you come back. But these other ones, it's very fast when you're going up. So if you want to have a foundation, you have to start, try and evaluate and see, can I start with the low risk? But again, time. You have the opportunity of time. You can venture out and try risky assets because you're working on the plan that if this doesn't work, tomorrow is another day. I'll start afresh. So for you, because you're young, you have that opportunity. But the key thing that you want to understand with an investment, it has to be into a productive activity, and it's giving you a return. And when you look at the government of Kenya as a benchmark, 7.5%, so that in anything else that you do, you're asking yourself, if someone tells you I'll give you 200%, where are they getting it from? Then the second and most important thing that I need you to learn is the investment that will give you the most value, Kagema, is if you can invest in your business. Because are you saying 1,000? If I gave you 1,000, how quickly can you turn it into peanut butter business? And what are the returns?
Yes.
They're considerably higher. They're 50%, if not double, right? So you can get, if you went and bought ingredients for 1,000, in less than a month, you can be able to move that 1,000 to 2,000, correct?
Yes.
So the biggest return you can ever get is if you're able to invest in your business. Investing in your business means, where is the market? What skills do I need? And what structures do I need to put? Okay. If you're able to put structures and build a business over time, by the time you're like 20, 30, 40, then you're in a considerably better place. That's the best investment.
Okay, so investing in a business, in your own business, is also investing. Yes,
it is. That's the best paying investment. And let me give you another example. Like if you look at, we had Dr. James Mwangi on our show, and he's invested in Equity Bank, and his story comes from I think he joined the bank in the late 80s or the early 90s, 92, 93. And he joined the company, and he's been putting his sweat in the company, and he's been getting shares. And even the workers of Equity Group also have shares in that company. So you see the pain that you feel when you're going through your business, because you start very early and you end late. If you're able to put proper structures, because Equity was number 66 out of 66 banks in 1993. Today it's number 1 out of slightly over 40 banks in Kenya. It's very profitable. It's taken them very many years. But they decided for them, their basic target, and the thing that we hear about Equity is every 5 years, they used to double their profits, right? Yes. Every 5 years, they double their profits. Every 5 years, they double their revenue. Every 5 years, they double their customers. So that became a strategy. When you think long term, it means the way you're making peanut butter today, which is maybe based on order, you have to start thinking ahead. And you have to start thinking, if I employ people, how will I make sure they don't steal this peanut butter? How will I make sure they don't steal the money? So you then begin to start thinking about structures. You know, how do I protect this investment into the future? If you can figure that out, that will be your best return. If you can't figure that out, then before you invest in your friends' businesses, the next thing is invest in the public market, because there's more transparency.
Yes.
If you invest in my business and it's a private business, I can go with your money. What will you do? That's a high-risk business.
Yes.
So if you're not going to do it in your business, go invest in opportunities that are in the public space so that you can start to understand the process.
Yes. So actually my next question was on private companies.
Yes.
So can the private companies be able to venture into the NSE?
Yes.
Can they put their name out there? I don't know what word to use.
To list.
Yeah, can they enlist in the NSE?
Yes, they can. You can list on the NSE.
As a private company?
You can list as a private company.
Yes.
So as a private company, so let me come back to your example. As an entrepreneur, when you've started, your first source of funding today is your savings, or what we call the 3 Fs, friends, families, and folds, right?
Yeah.
So those are the people you're like, oh, I need to do this, then you do it. Then when you get to a place, maybe after 2 or 3 years, will have been able to see, does this business make sense? If not, you'll have closed it and started something else. You start now going to the bank. I have this orders, you start forming that relationship with the bank, or even this mobile apps, you start borrowing money, but you're not borrowing money to consume, you're borrowing money to build your business. Yes. As you grow over time and you want now to exit, because you're saying I've put in my sweat and tears for maybe 5 or 10 years, the perfect way to exit is in the public market, where now you give people opportunities. But before you get into the public market, there are different people in between. There's venture capital, people who are saying, I wish you do well. If you don't do well, it's neither here or there, but I hope you do. So they'll come and take a huge stake in your business, because they're saying, we are buying it from the bottom up, so you better give us a discount and a huge stake.
Yes.
Then there's also private equity that says, okay, now you want to scale your business. So they work with you and they become a strategic partner. Then you finally come into the NSC so that those people who've been working with you can be able to find a way of exiting.
Okay. To my next question.
Yes, please.
So as a young person or as a person who has no knowledge on how to invest or buy stocks,
yes,
does someone need a special type of skill set? Because they say that investing is success driven, not dollar driven.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you need like a certain skill set to be able to invest or to be able to buy stock?
Yes.
Or be able to be patient, so that you can be able to get that return after those many years?
Okay. So first and foremost, I say, get your skin in the game. You could have been thinking and reading about making peanut butter.
Yes.
You did a bit of homework before you started,
yes,
right?
Yes, I did.
How was the experience from reading versus when you started?
Reading was more of like, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll just do it. But now when I got my skin into it, I was learning as I was doing it.
Yes.
So I think getting into the game is better than actually thinking about it.
Exactly.
Yes.
So number one, you've already answered your question.
Yes.
Then the second question would be, then what do I get into? So I say, first and foremost, your touch points, right? When you wake up, what's the first thing that you do? Okay.
Brush my teeth.
Brush your teeth. Fantastic. Okay. Brush your teeth. In Kenya, we don't have a company that makes Colgate or that makes toothpaste that's listed.
Yes.
What's the next thing? You'd probably have breakfast.
Yeah.
You don't engage with your phone?
I do.
Before brushing your teeth?
Yeah, I check my messages, my emails, everything, yeah.
And who provides you with the ability to use your phone?
Myself.
Your Safaricom is data?
Oh, no, I just use Wi-Fi.
Who's your Wi-Fi provider?
Safaricom.
Okay.
Yes.
And then if you want to make a call?
I use Safaricom.
You use Safaricom.
Yes.
If you want to send somebody money?
Safaricom M-Pesa.
You use Safaricom M-Pesa. That's the first basic thing that you want to do, because you want to look at my day.
Yes.
Every single day, where am I spending?
Yes.
Because where you're spending, it means that company has, if it has many people spending in that way every day, if you buy that company, it can give you a return as a shareholder, or there could be the demand for that company. So you've already told me 3 things that you're spending on in terms of Safaricom,
yes.
and it's listed. We've seen the supplier of your Colgate and water, that's not listed. Then you have breakfast. What would you eat for breakfast?
Maybe eggs.
Eggs?
Yeah.
Okay, so those ones are not listed. Those are not available. Then there's Kenya Power. You use electricity, but Kenya Power, there are many questions there. There are many questions on corporate governance there, so not that one put on the side.
Yes.
Do you bank?
I do.
Who's your bank?
Cooperative
Bank. That's your next touch point, because when you're making an investment, you're saying that I think these people know how to make money, and if they have been able to convince you to be a customer, and how your experience is, it's a basic way of looking at it. So we've named Safaricom already for you. We've named Cooperative Bank. Then if it's a Saturday, if it's a weekend, do you go out with your friends?
I do.
Would you indulge in any beverage?
Yes.
Which one?
Maybe Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola?
Yes.
Alcoholic beverage?
No.
Okay, non-alcoholic. Okay, so we can stick to Cooperative and Safaricom.
Yes.
When you break it down to that level, then the next thing you want to come and do is look at what is the price of Safaricom. Today it's 30 shillings. And what is the price of Cooperative? That's about 11.5, 11.9 shillings.
Yes.
The key metric that you want to look out for when you're investing, first and basic one, is what we call price to earnings ratio. And what you do is you go to the business daily. The business daily each and every single day. A low price to earnings ratio is positive for you. A high price to earnings ratio is not good, because that has to be your first basic is who am I interacting with. Then the next one is the technicals of this company. If the price to earnings ratio is low, it means that there could be opportunity for it to go up, so you can buy now. The other thing you want to look at, does this company pay you a dividend? So which is what we would call the dividend yield. Is it giving you a return? You know, the bank might not give you a return, but Safaricom gives you a return.
Yes.
That's the other thing that you want to look at. The third thing you want to look at is what has been the highest price over the last 12 months and the lowest price, to get a sense of, is this company going to go up over and above that? And the fourth thing you want to do is to come and speak to me, and I'll tell you how. But over and above that, open an account, and I know we've had this conversation with you. I know you've opened an account already.
Yes.
As I'd say, let your initial investment be these 2 companies that you invest in. Invest a minimum. You need a minimum of 100 for each.
100 shares.
Yes.
Yes.
A minimum of 100. Anytime you're buying anything on the NSE, the minimum size is 100 shares. So 100 shares means for your Safaricom, your initial investment would be 3,000. And then for Cooperative, the minimum investment would be 1,200.
Yeah.
Right? So if you decide, I'm going to do this at the very minimum, the reality is anytime something happens with Safaricom, you listen. Because now we were discussing peanut butter, and you're already telling me almond, cashews, and the prices and the margins, because your skin is in the game, right? So if you do this, then you start to pay attention and you begin to learn. But if you wait to be a perfect, to get a perfect understanding of it, then that might be not to be able to satisfy you. I think we can take maybe one last question.
Okay. You have actually answered it, because my next question was: is there a strategy one must use? And you say that you must first learn the market like 12 months before, so that you can see the lows, the highs, and the lows that the company is going through. Okay,
fantastic. Actually, it's not learn the market 12 months before. Try and see what was the price movement over the last 12 months. Then put in the minimum, which is 100 shares. Yes.
Of course. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Okay, fantastic. Please come back again, so at least we can keep moving it. If you come back sooner, then at least we can try and see after this step, then what's the next step.
Yes, I can say I'm a bit wiser than the last time.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. And that was Adam Kagema. He is an entrepreneur. He does videography, cinematography, too much energy. He's doing a lot, which is very exciting, but he was also very curious about investments. And really the conclusion of this conversation is this: if you're able to invest in your business, I think that will give you the best return. But you must be prepared to sort of think about structures, build a proper business. Don't just have the hassle of today I'll sell this, tomorrow I'll sell that. Can you register the business? Can you think about the internal structures? If that's not something that you're interested in, then come into the public market space. NSC, if you're the same age group as Adam, 2021, the NSC, you can start investing with as low as 200 shillings. We've talked about which companies should you look out for? What are the companies that you are engaging in? The first and foremost thing that I say, if you have M-Pesa, if you're calling people, if you're using Wi-Fi, you're spending at least over 1,000 shillings every single month to put in Safaricom to consume. Owe it to yourself to put at least 3,000 into the Safaricom stock. You'd rather even reduce your 1,000 spending to 800 and then say in 3 months, I will go buy the minimum. You know why? Because that investment will be there with you. The price can move from 30 to more than 30. You will earn a return, or you'll also earn a dividend. Cooperative Bank is also another one that you want to look out for. I hope you'll continue to stay here with us, and we'll continue to get better in terms of understanding. But your key takeout, it's the weekend. Before you go and spend whatever you're going to spend, put 10% aside for savings, then another 10% aside for investments, and let's talk next week and see how that went for you. Thank you. Enjoy your weekend. See you on Monday, same time. Good afternoon.